What up? My name is Uncle Imani. I represent the fantastic, phantasmagorical, world-famous, phenomenal Pharcyde, Los Angeles, California. My dad used to have a red Fiat wagon, had a tape player in it, and he was amped. He wanted me to hear some song and shit. And at the time, I was into like James Brown, Michael Jackson, P-Funk, War, Peaches and Herb, Ashford and Simpson, and that kind of shit. Was because that's Isaac Hayes, that kind of shit. Whatever my mama's records and shit. And so he had this song, and it's like, you ever went over your friend's house to eat and the food just ain't no good? I mean, the macaroni sour to Pete, that shit. And he's like, you're gonna love this, you're gonna love this. And some of my pops, I'm not listening to him like, it's cool, It's not no James, I'm like, it ain't no P-Funk, ain't no James Brown. But I hear you, yeah. Then after I got it to myself with him not being around me, it was like, ooh, this some shit. Cause I didn't want my pops to be hipping me to some hot shit. And it's kind of so funny because, just to bring it full circle, Odd Future had came out, and I was kind of like, yeah, this is nice, cool. I like what they doing, I like where they going. I'm gonna hit my kids to it. So I'm like, yo, y'all ever heard of Odd Future? They're like, nah, this is earlier before they really blew up. And they're like, nah. And I was like, y'all gonna dig this. They're like, whatever. Yeah, whatever. You know what happened. Just like what happened to me. I got sprung. They're sprung. They loved. I mean, they already was hip hop, but they just, I guess it's weird when your pops introducing you to some shit. What made me want to get into hip hop, they used to have this concert called the Fresh Fest. I'm not sure what year it was. It probably was like 84, 85, I don't know, 86 maybe, some shit like that. And I know what I had on though. Had a Jerry curl, had a Turkish earring, I had a Gucci sweatshirt, and I had some parachute pants. Nigga, you couldn't tell me nothing. And I was styling. And I got to see UTFO, Turbo and Ozone, the Fat Boys, Houdini, the Real Roxanne probably was on. It was just a plethora of motherfuckers. And the highlight of the night was Run DMC. So just imagine, Run DMC was the headline of the Fresh Fest. So you can imagine that's like going to seeing Jay-Z, Snoop Dogg, Biggie, Tupac, all mixed, the NWA, all mixed into one. So, literally, I can remember, DMC came out like, yo, my man ain't gonna come out until, you say his name. And when I ask you whose house it is, you say Run. You know what I'm saying? Run's house. Jam Master Jay was on the wheels and shit like, whose house? Run. It went run. It went run. Whose house? And Run DMC. Run DMC is my name. Jam Master Jay is his. It's DMC. It's like that. Master. Come on, man. I was probably in the 6th, 7th, or 8th grade or some shit like that. My wig was blown instantly. My wig was cracked open. It was over. I wanted to be Run. DMC was tight. Matter of fact, he made the arena so off the bonkers that the Long Beach Insane Crip Gang turned out the whole party and was throwing fools off the Raptures, and the party was over. But I guess that's how you made you feel. Like you just had to just bust open. And the gangsters was in the house that day. It was in Long Beach. I never forget that. That probably was a lot of hip hop fools that eventually became DJs, MCs, B-boys, graffiti artists. A lot of us probably was at that show at the Fresh Fest. I'm sure it was. Because, it was like fools we waited. It was New York coming to L.A. We get to see the real hip-hop on stage. All of, that was it. After I seen that shit. Life is inspiring. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you, I have an 18-year-old son now and a 15-year-old son. So that in itself is an adventure. I'm inspired by that daily. Just the fact that they've been around as long as I've been doing music and hip-hop, and I've seen so many trends and MCs and names and people come and they're still coming, and it's getting bigger, and it's like a fucking wildfire, and it's great. I mean, it's never going to be exactly what you want it to be, but why should it? The fun part of it is the diversity and the variety of it. People being unique, like, that's what makes hip-hop dope to me. Like, when I hate the lack of originality or lack of creativity, because it's like you can do you so much better than anybody else could do you. Why would you want to do somebody else? So when I see MCs or groups that have originality, that's really what I'm into. I really dig that. Like De La Soul is one of my favorite groups ever. NWA is one of my favorite groups ever. Run DMC is one of my favorite groups ever. We came from dancing. You know what I mean? We was B-boys and dancing and groovers and shit like that. And how we interpret the rhythm may be just a little bit different than somebody that just was like writing raps their whole life. Like, I wasn't writing raps my whole life. I was dancing my whole life. And we kind of like stumbled into the whole just making records thing. Because we didn't set out to be like a rap group. We were dancers and entertainers, like motherfuckers. We were choreographers and shit. And we were like them niggas. You know how Bobby Brown and he got the backup dancers? Like, we was the backup dancer niggas. And then it just got to the point where we just did enough where it was like, man, we gonna do some other shit. And, you know, maybe that's the twist from us dancing and hearing the music from a dancer's perspective. Maybe that's why we rap the way we rap. But I mean, I never really thought about it. It's just, I know I just hear the music a little bit different. And then, you know, I'm from Compton. That's where I got my stripes at. I don't live there no more, but that's where I grew up at. That's where I went to school at. That's where my peoples is at. That's where my family's at. So, I don't know. And not being a gangster. You know what I'm saying? Just coming up in this hood, just this regular dude, just chilling, you know. Or maybe it's I like to smoke weed. Weed is cool, keeps you mellow and shit. And maybe it's because I'm not just a rap head. Maybe, you know, I listen to other kinds of music. Fuck this rap shit. I listen to classical, reggae, Afrobeat, punk, new wave, electro, house. Maybe just being a little bit open-minded with how you hear the rhythms. The biggest challenge is the way you make money and just the financial part of the business, because it's music, but it's business. And it's difficult sometimes to really just be in both worlds. But it takes money to keep the machine running. So you got to figure out ways and be creative with how you make money, because, you know, the well hasn't run dry, but it's changed. The game has changed. So you have to be a little bit more creative. I mean, entertainers always made most of their money doing shows anyway, but it's just like everything is being streamed, and, you know what I mean, you can see the concert on the TV now. So, I mean, it's just a matter of time before it switches up again, and then we have to change again. And every time the game changes, we have to change. So, and sometimes that frustrates people and they want to give up, or they say whatever they want to say, but it's always something people gonna want to say. You know what I mean? You couldn't even sing in hip-hop at one point. You couldn't even dance in hip-hop. You was a sucker if you danced. Fuck that, I live it to the niggas with the funny haircuts. That's Ice Cube dissing the dancer niggas. You know how I feel? I was a nigga with a funny haircut and shit. Like, so it's just, shit always changes. Technology always changes shit. Changes the way you do things, and before you know it, you're like, how did I not survive without the technology? You hate it when it comes in, and then you can't understand how you survived without it your whole life. So this day too will pass, and something else will come in and make motherfuckers mad and curse and be pissed off and shit. So it is what it is. Roll with the punches. My thing is to just freak the funk, interpret the rhythm, speak the voice that's inside of me, get that fire that's burning inside of me out, get those words that are in my heart, the feeling that I'm feeling out, and get it out. Then it's for the people to like talk about what's the best and what's the greatest and how do I fit into some shit. I just want to just do me. I just want to just be the best me. You know what I mean? Without like trying to be somebody else. Because it's hard to be yourself. Because it's not always the shit. You know what I mean? When you see Kanye West or Jay-Z or Wiz Khalifa or Snoop Dogg or somebody that's popular and has a lot of things going, you're like, man, maybe I should incorporate what they doing or something like that. But the reason that they're doing it, because they doing them. And that's, they're being the best they can be of them. They're getting the most out of what they got. So I want to just get the most out of what I got. Not really worried about, like, how I'm looked at or no shit like that. Just have fun. Keep a smile. Make people smile. And just when people say Pharcyde or Uncle Imani or anything that I'm affiliated with or associated with, it's just always be like, man, it's nothing like that. It's unique. Compare other people to us. Like, that's what we wanted. We wanted to have a sound that was just our own. And the best way to get your own style or sound is to do you. But that's just so difficult. I mean, you don't even know what your voice is sometimes. It takes time just to find your voice.